But the other thing I wanted to bring up real quick is I like to imagine that the father and son, they kidnap little kids and then they make them little slaves on their farm, and that Kavoth thinks he screwed up by not going with them, but by not going with them, he saved himself of a dreary existence where he would have died as a slave. So that's one little bright spot. So as bad as Tarbean is, it was going to be way worse if he went with them. So if you ever read that and you felt bad and you're like, oh man, I wish you would have went with them, just realize it's hidden deep. It's hidden deep. Slaves. That was a slave trader.
Huh. Wow. You're probably right, Dan.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% right. It's clear.
Rothfuss will probably readdress that in book 3, I bet.
Oh, he'll 100% confirm that I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's a slave trader. He's a piece of shit, and you thought he was a good guy, and you were dead wrong.
Wow. I was actually going to say, I like that he went from what was a kind of heartening thing to find that there are actually good people in the world that are willing to help Kavoth, who we're rooting for, and then immediately after he meets savagery.
Yeah, it's brutal, and that's not even close to the worst of it. Like, that was just his first day, and like then when he gets shit kicked out of him, he goes and looks for the slave traders that he thought were gonna save him. When he comes back, thankfully they're gone, so he didn't get put into bondage to work on that guy's farm. So thankfully they 100% are. And so thankfully he was saved from that dreary hellhole of a life. But he goes and like tries to curl up on some shopkeeper's porch and, gets kicked out of there, and then just goes and, sleeps in an alley, buying some barrels for the night. And that's his first night in Tarbean.
He lost most of his belongings.
Pretty fucking sweet opening to Tarbean. Get you ready for what's to come, because it's pretty fucking brutal.
You ever had a good butternut squash, Dan? Because nobody who has makes butternut squash. No way they could be slave traders.
Every slave trader lures little kids in with butternut squash.
Is that how they do it?
Yeah, that's a known thing in history. It's very famous in
history.
It's very famous in Roman history that slave traders used butternut squash.
Is that like the Pied Piper? He really wasn't playing a flute. He was just handing out squash.
Yeah, he just dragged buttered up squash behind him, and that's how he lured everybody in.
Huh.
So it's like a
historical facts that I'm dropping on everybody.
Okay, so if you see like a symbol of butternut squash, it's a symbol of slave trade.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.